When we are continuing to bring you coverage of the condition of the state, Governor Kim Reynolds' third condition of the state since taking office, and Local 5's chief political correspondent Rachel Droz is live at the State House speaking to Democrats. Now we are hearing from Democratic leadership, the minority whip in the House. Rachel, good morning to you.
Good morning, Sabrina. As you mentioned, we are here with the Democratic whip in the House, Representative Jo Oldson. She is the representative from Des Moines. We earlier heard from Senator Bisignano, the senator from Des Moines. So, initial reaction, what are your thoughts on what you heard today through the governor's condition of the state address?
Well, as you know, the governor's address is sort of the first step in a process, and we are just starting a process in this legislative session. It now comes before the legislature. Both the Senate and the House have a lot of work in front of them. I think she laid out some great broad strokes on issues that both parties have been talking about and feel very strongly about: child care, some on education, water quality, certainly issues that we all know we need to address and have significant issues around. But as we move forward, the devil becomes, or is part of the detail now. You know, it's digging in and seeing what is actually proposed, and we have yet to see those details, and so we've got some work in front of us. Certainly Democrats are here and ready to go to work and feel strongly about those issues, and we are hopeful that the House Republicans are feeling that same way.
And now part of your job is to kind of count the votes, get the votes for issues that are on the Democratic agenda. One of those, of course, being child care. It seems like that's going to be a pretty easy vote to get for some of these issues. Kind of lay out how you go through that process when you guys are in the minority, and also what your thoughts are on what she laid out for child care proposals today.
Well, again, you know, her speech talked about child care and the need to address both what we call the child care cliff, and that is the issue around people making just enough, too much money to get public subsidy, but losing that public subsidy makes it very tough for them to afford child care. And then also around providers and making sure that we have a strong provider network. Both of those issues are huge. Both of those issues are huge for employers as well as parents. And so we'll start digging into them, and we don't know what the details are that she will lay out. We haven't seen detail out of the majority party in either the House or Senate, but they are big issues for House Democrats, and we're going to take a strong look at them and hope that we can move forward with something both parties can agree on.
Now, felon voting rights, you guys already did your work on that proposed constitutional amendment. It got stuck in the Senate, and now there's talks of possible amendments to that bill that you guys sent over, possibly putting in more of a system to kind of base it off of levels of a felony, if you committed a murder, if you committed a sexual offense, things like that. Is that something that you guys would be open to in your caucus?
Certainly we will take a look. We are in general very supportive of restoring felon rights, and we haven't seen detail of what the Senate is particularly talking about making changes to, but Democrats are going to continue to be supportive of restoring felon rights. We feel like voting is one of those basic rights that we have in this society, and when you've served your time, then you ought to be able to vote. Your ability to vote is really not tied to whatever criminal behavior you've paid your time for.
And something that it didn't seem like there was a lot of applause, standing ovation from Democrats, was when she laid out her plan to further reduce property or income taxes in the state. Kind of walk me through your thoughts as your caucus on income tax reduction, a further reduction, and if you think it's feasible moving forward in the state to pay for things that need to be funded.
Well, again, we will have to see what it actually is she's proposing. I would say in general what I heard this morning was a fairly significant sort of shift in tax policy, certainly one of the more significant broad stroke shifts that I have seen in the years I've been up here. We will have to see where that shifts to. Democrats are not particularly interested in doing anything more regressive in tax shifting, and generally when you move to a sales tax based funding system for your programs, it is more aggressive than if you look at income tax. Having said that, we don't know. We don't know exactly what's proposed, and we're certainly interested in taking a look. It'll be a long discussion this session.
Okay, well, we'll be here for it. And then my last thing that I wanted to ask you about is something that wasn't mentioned in her speech. Medical marijuana, medical cannabis was not brought up. And of course, that is something that was sent to her last year. She vetoed it, and you guys are going to try again this year. Do you think that you guys can get a bill passed to her desk that she will put pen to paper and sign?
Certainly hope so. We hear constantly from Iowans who are feeling like it would hugely benefit the pains and illnesses that they have. Talked to a constituent a couple weeks ago whose child was using medical marijuana, and it had made a huge difference in that child's life and ability to day-to-day function. And so we're all worried that if we don't make changes, we're going to lose the industry that is just getting started, and certainly lose the ability to help Iowans with significant illnesses.
All right. Well, Thank you so much for joining us, Representative Joe Oldson, the House Representative, a House Democrat from Des Moines. For now, I'm going to send things back to you, Sabrina. For now, live at the State House, Rachel Droz, Local 5 News. We are Iowa.